Moving on to the third item, confirming pin placement. We talked about that where I said if your slope is for a 6-pin placement at a certain time, then you need to make sure that when your guides radio, you know, if the person's okay, you know, or done or whatever at the end, then make sure that they, you know, the bottom guide says, yeah, pin placement 6 is good. Then the top guide will say back pin placement 6, the patron's in, and the patron will, after the top guide keys the mic, patron will tell the bottom guide that pin placement 6 is what I'm in. And then you can send the rider. That's part of risk management. It's also part of confirming pin placements. If for some reason you need to move more than one pin placement from 6 to 8, then you need a supervisor's approval. You need to talk to a supervisor, tell them what's happening. If you're making that big of a change, something's going on, and I recommend at least going through a management supervisor, somebody besides you two guides that are out there. And don't be changing pin placements, trying to make people go in faster or slower or whatever. There's lots of things that we can do. If you want to turn them around in pin placement 8, you're going to have a slight amount of difference between stopping and going. And you can run another guy, you know, in pin placement 8 this way. So if the brake's in front, you're going to have a slight amount of more pressure because the angle is going to change faster for this. And then if you decide to run it in the reverse position, say if somebody's just not quite coming in a certain weight or whatever, then you can turn it this way where the brake material is in the back and you have a little bit of less brake force because of the angle and the trigonometry involved in this. But the inspection process for the trolley, I recommend whenever you get a set of trolleys that you take a Dremel tool or an engraving tool and write your course number on that, you know, what the date. I mean, this is stainless steel construction. There should be somewhere where you can engrave that in. And then make sure you, when you document, you know, your video documenting, make sure if you're video documenting that your guide looks at that trolley. You know, 'cause that's part of the inspection process. And they should be, you know, go through the trolley very carefully the first, before they put them out on the course, and then they should watch them throughout the course. You're going to want to check for any kind of stress cracking, missing nuts or loose nuts. Maybe something's went wrong with your pin. You've got to make a note of it. And you want to have these pins. And if you've got, you know, things that can fall out of your, you know, trolley and be lost like this, then you ought to have extras. You know, take them out on the course with you because, you know, the nice thing about this trolley is that we're capable of changing and rotating the brake while you're out on the course. So if you wear through into one of the holes, as you wear this area down, you're going to get into one of the holes that are in this pin. There's 4 holes that make up a bolt circle on this. And each time you rotate it, you can get a pin into that hole. And so, let's see. So each time it's rotated, your pin can go into the hole at 90 degrees. So you just keep rotating it 90 degrees. And you can actually use all 4 sides. If you're really careful and you want to just barely get into the, when the hole starts opening up in the middle, that means that you've only got about 1/4 of an inch of material left. So if you know how much you're wearing the cable down, depending on what type of, or wearing the brake down, depending on what type of cable you have, or swedged or just aircraft cable that your jurisdiction allows, you know, make sure that you know how many, you know, how many times this trolley has went down the course, because then you can use that information to purchase wheels and brakes and other items that make this trolley even safer to, you know, an easily replaceable brake material and wheels. This trolley can last a long time if you do well, good inspections, and you keep it out of the dirt, keep it off the ground. You know, whenever it's either connected to a carabiner to you, or it's in your hand on the cable, one or the other. You know, we don't set things down to the side. If your guy's got to work on something, have them clip the trolley onto their side and make sure they're not kneeling in dirt or something that can drag these. But you want to keep them clean. I mean, with any piece of equipment, you know, you've got bearings and oil and things that are just magnets for dirt. And so the more you can keep these clean, I recommend once you get them back, take a computer air blower, you know, the little can of stuff, and just blow it off, and then just hang it up, you know. Put it someplace where it's safe, and we provide a shipping container that we think is a good place for you to start with. You know, it's not going to last a lifetime, but it'll get you for a while. And, you know, put these in a dry, safe place, free from dust, free from, you know, blowing leaves, whatever. You want to document your inspections. Once again, I recommend video documenting as well as writing things down. You know, do part of it at least, you know, because you got to have at least one section of the documentation that if somebody like an expert comes in and you've made a mistake, you've at least done enough documentation that this guy's going to know that you're doing your due diligence, and hopefully it'll get you out of a lawsuit. Thank you.